Good evening, everyone. We begin here at 6 with breaking news out of the gorge. A wildfire on the Washington side in the gorge now forcing level 3 go now evacuations in Klickitat County east of Bingen. The evacuation area for all levels 1, 2, and 3 have been expanded at this point further east.
This is the new evacuation map right now. Again, east of Bingen and White Salmon on the Washington side of the gorge. State Route 14 there. Closed for about 8 miles spanning. These have just mushroomed in the last few minutes. Level 3 expanding east. Hard to tell distances here. That's about 4 miles, we think, from the left to the right there in the red. Level 3 go now. Level 2 and level 1s going all the way to the community of Lyle, home to a couple hundred people. Again, on the Washington side of the river, east of Bingen and east of White Salmon. This changing really minute to minute here.
Absolutely. And let's get right to Alma McCarty, who's live on the Oregon side, just across the Columbia. Alma, we should mention, as we were just talking about, SR 14, that main artery in Washington, shut down the area, what, an 8-mile or so stretch. Walk us through what you're seeing right now on the ground.
Yeah, as you said, Christine, we are on the Oregon side of the gorge between Mosier and Hood River. I'm going to step out of the way so you can see some of what we are seeing just now. There appears to be, my photographer Dan is going to be zooming in on it, at least one structure that has burned on the other side. We believe it could be a home. We are not sure at this point, but we do believe, just based on what we were able to see in the camera, what you're able to see on screen, and the different color of smoke, that at least one structure has burned in this fire, the Bourdain fire, as the locals have been calling it here. I would say that the wind has still been moving pretty quickly in this area, which is pushing the flames, which have a border really on the I want to say the west side. It is pushing all of the smoke over to the east, which would explain those evacuation zones being expanded. On the Oregon side, traffic is moving as normal. So if you typically need to go through this area on State Route 14, you can go head over the Hood River Bridge and get on the Oregon side to make your way around. I will say this fire, which has been burning since this afternoon, it is about 250 acres in size. At last check, it could have expanded a little bit since we arrived on the ground here. But we did check in earlier this afternoon with a WSP trooper just to see how things are in that 8-mile stretch you were talking about.
Which never poses as good news, right, if we're lengthening the closure. You know, the big problem we're having right now on 14 is that it sounds like that fire's really loosening up some rocks, and there's some rocks coming down from the cliffside there onto State Route 14. So that's going to pose as an issue.
Yeah, WashDOT does not have an expected reopening time at this point for that stretch of roadway, but you can see here there are lots of fire crews, at least from the sky, working on the flames, working on the fire, trying to contain this thing. But at this time, we just don't know their progress at this point. It is still very windy, and there are many people out here who are just watching yet another fire burn in the gorge. Christine, David, I'm just going to go ahead and send it back to you.
Yeah, Alma, before we let you go there, because these are just incredible pictures, and feel free to keep showing us the lay of the land there across the Columbia there. Again, looking from the Oregon across the Washington side there, we can hear the wind whipping through the gorge there. Just give me a sense, because from what we're seeing in these in your live pictures here, it looks like the flames are, you know, you've got the western side, and then miles to the east, you've got active flames burning there. So it looks like maybe this is spotting. There are embers being carried by the winds. Is that, you know, are you seeing multiple fires in multiple spots around this area here, stretching for miles?
I personally, David, have not seen too many fires that have been spouted. We are really on the most western edge of where the fire is, and of course we are seeing, of course, the smoke being carried, and as I mentioned earlier, that fire that is hitting the structure. So you have to assume that there are embers being carried, and then small pockets of flames popping up along the hillside here.
Yeah, really stark images there. You can see the direction of the smoke where it's blowing, and as Alma was just mentioning, at least one structure appearing to be burning at this point. We also know that there is an evacuation shelter in place at Columbia High School in White Salmon. Alma, appreciate your reporting on this. We'll continue to check in with you and, of course, relay any information to you, our viewers, as we learn it.